Hello. Might be a little crunchy tonight. I think I actually picked up some con crud. Like a scratchy throat. But it's okay. I microwaved some week-old coffee. We'll obviously fix it. Oh, you got the new Evil Dead code? Cool. Yeah, there's a few, I think it'll probably be like a hot fix. Because there's a few things, like there's like a way to start the video mode without the camera switching, so yeah. But I hope you're enjoying it. Everyone at Expo was raving about it. They're like, this game is really good. And I'm like, thanks. They had like a bunch there. I think they were all modded, like being resold by like one of the distributors. So apparently you can still get them, but they're there's definitely a market premium, as the car dealers used to say. Hello, Ray. Yeah, in the menu you can change how many tapes you have to find to get the video mode, and also how many tapes spawn. Like the first 12 modes, the ones that it shipped with, the 8 movie modes and the 4 stackable multi-balls. Like, let's say you say, oh, I need 3 tapes, or you set it to be 3 tapes to start the mode. I think that's the default, that or 4. So what it'll do is across those first 12 modes, it'll spawn tapes required times 2. So if you need 3, it'll spawn 6. And it's random, so if you're in the mode and you see like a reel-to-reel tape image in the upper right-hand corner, that means there's a tape in that mode that you can discover. Then usually, pretty much like, as long as you like just do the mode, like get one jackpot, or it's pretty simple to achieve the tape in each mode. And then when you do that, there'll be a prompt, there'll be a video that says, oh, lost tape found, like 3 or 4 or whatever. And then once you've found enough, the next time you go back to mode 0, like after the mode's over, it might say, oh, video mode's ready, in which case it's lit at the trap door, so you just shoot the trap door, and the video mode will start. Like, if you have more than one mode lit at the trap door, which is probably unlikely but possible, there's a priority system, like which mode would get triggered first. I believe video mode is like the highest priority. But it is possible, like if you had like Cheryl multi-ball and video mode lit at the trap door, you'd shoot it and it would go to video mode, and then when you come out of video mode, the trap door would be lit again for Cheryl. So it basically keeps track of what modes you have queued at the door. What's the best way to understand and read rule set? Good question. Yeah, we never like did a full write-up. You know, it's pathetic, but I should have the answer for that, but I don't really. I think people have made some like things you can print out for the aprons that have everything printed out. And I actually forget a lot of it. Like once I think my brain holds about 5,000 lines of code. Then I kind of forget how stuff works. Like, I think I've actually forgotten how more systems work on Evil Dead than Texas Chainsaw. Just because it's a much more complex game. So there's more underlying systems that I wrote like, 15 months ago, and I forgot how they work, only that they do. Actually, when I was doing the Texas Chainsaw update, I was actually using AI to help me. I was like, okay, remind me again, is there a function to do this and this in a mode? And I was using AI to help me reacclimate myself with, in that case, code I'd written over 3 years ago. So today we got a righty. So had some more orders come in. So one of the guys, what was it? One of the guys ordered. He ordered a righty, and no, how did that work? He ordered a lefty and accidentally made a righty, but then I realized, oh no, he emailed me. He's like, oh, I meant to actually click lefty. And so I think I'd already mailed. Oh yeah, I had already mailed it to him. So a righty. So yes, he ordered a righty. I built a righty. He got it and realized that every so often people misunderstand like what hand you're supposed to order it for. So he sent it back, and so I built him a righty or whatever it was. So he sent the other one back. Oh, wait, no. He needed a righty and he ordered a lefty. That was the problem. So he sent the lefty back. So I was hoping one of the new orders would be for a lefty. That way I could just test and resend out this controller. But of course not. No, but no. Down. Here, eat that. Oh, he's climbing up on the table to get at the Q-tips. What a jerk. Yeah. Meaningful and robust friends. A tangy, moist burger. Yeah, burger. I might make a burger for lunch tomorrow. Oh, wait, no. Tomorrow is eat out day. Oh, yeah, RE, what I was talking about with the streams. If I'm going to still work from home for a couple more years at this point, I don't like working from home. I know some people love it, but I'm too extroverted for it. And I live by myself, which makes it worse. And I have an annoying orange male cat who's very annoying in the mornings. And, nope, I gave you a Q-tip. Get down. And keeps jumping on the table to get the Q-tips. So one of the things, I was actually talking to ChatGPT, like asking for advice, and one of the things it suggested was like trying to schedule more. Not like during the day, because during the day I just work 40 hours a week. But like weeknight stuff. So like I want to maybe try to do streams every Monday night, even if there aren't builds. Back in 2020, there would have been more than enough orders for that, but not anymore. Yeah, so I mean, there's already some stuff I usually do, like, you know, like Warped Wednesday, like play Warzone. But, Bud, get off of there! You jumped up there 3 times now. I need to get a shock collar like a certain CIA agent. Yeah, but so I think if I have some more structure at night, that will help me with the work from home stuff. So that's why I like to stream more. Yeah, Guy Incognito, I played that at Texas. No, but look at all these Q-tips. No. No, here. Plenty of Q-tips to eat everywhere else. But yeah, actually, the Winchester Mystery House guy, that David, he's actually a pretty good friend of mine. So yeah, I stopped by his booth and talked to him about it, and he's Australian, and, you know, he's like, mate, you gotta play my new game. Yeah. So Justavision. So I'm programming pinballs full time now, and 99 times out of 100, I have to sit there with my computer hooked up to an actual pinball machine. So there are times if there's anything I can do that's not with the pinball machine, like if I need to do some writing or something like that, I will actually like try to like go to a bar or something. But unfortunately, that is a tiny, tiny minority of the time that I spend on stuff. Like when I was working in the video mode, I took my Freescale notebook and I went to the bar and drew all the thumbnails. But yeah, unfortunately, I have to, because when I dev it, I have my work from home PC. I don't like working on laptops either, so I've got like a work from home PC, and I always run Unity right off the PC, and then I have the pinball machine plugged in as a third monitor. It makes it very fast for debugging. So that's part of the problem. Yeah, I can't even work remote really. Helen Mirren. Oh, I assume Helen Mirren plays the Winchester lady. Yeah, it was a pretty cool game. It has like this rotating section where it like changes the path. That part was pretty cool. Although I did remark to David that I was like, for a haunted house theme, you sure had all the playfield GIs on a lot. Bud, no! Down! Down! Out! Jesus, 4 times. Jeez, what the fuck? What is wrong with him? He's been fiending for that right now. I gave him one and he still keeps going for the box. Bud, you're lucky I'm not a totally in the CIA YouTuber or Twitch streamer. Oh, I get that reference. I think it's like a Ryzen something or other. I actually been kind of into Ryzen's. Like, I don't think I've built an Intel PC since, gosh, it's been a while. I started using AMD like in 2017 when they became cool again. It's too bad AMD or what's it? Jeez, I can't even. What's the AMD video cards called? It's not AMD. I can't even remember. I wish they could. It's nice that they're competing with Intel, but what we really need is someone to compete with NVIDIA. NVIDIA, the entire economy of the entire world. Oh, thanks, Retro Replay. Did you notice the new animations I did for the Mode 0 screen where it slides the progress things around? That I had to kind of hack that in to make it work. But I hope you like it. I didn't. They didn't give me an artist for TCM for like the first. God, probably like the first 9 months. And then the Mode 0 display, like where you see the progress of the characters. I want to say that was one of the last things I actually did on the game. So it was like way underbaked. So I tried to bake it a little bit more. Then on Evil Dead, the backgrounds, I did that. Well, I was working with Chris Francie right away on Evil Dead, so I was able to do the Evil Dead backgrounds immediately, and that's one of the reasons that they're so much better. That, and you know, I learned more about Unity. I don't even know if I used all the animation features I made for that. Like every time it switches to like the outdoor view, the trees have moved a little bit. They're just sprites. So there's like a bunch of layering. There's like a tree layer, a bush layer, a background layer. There's a fog layer, a house layer. I could probably juice it up some more because you can like in the settings. Well, not the setting. In the function that draws like the outside of the cabin. You can like turn on the porch light, or you can turn on the shed lights, turn off the shed lights, car lights on off, cabin on off, vortex on off. There was actually like a Linda hand that came out of the dirt, or like it could come out of the dirt. It was like a sprite. I removed that because there's usually like progress text over it, so you couldn't even see it. But yeah, it was fun making that. Incestuous AI bubble. Yeah, it's a total crock of shit. It's gonna pop. Like once the AI bubble pops, then they're gonna like, oh crap, the economy completely blows, and you can't have an economy based off one price gouging graphics card company. That's why you see like this insane AI. Like everybody's like advertising like, oh AI cloud, AI cloud. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's not that AI is bad. It's just you can't have an economy based on AI. The Packers comeback win. I saw the notification on my phone. That's good, especially after they got beat by the Browns. That was sad. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to be a Packers fan because there's so many times they come so close to going back to the Super Bowl, but they always blow it. Yeah. The amount of power AI is how much it takes is insane. Especially all these companies that pretend to be green or whatever. It's like, give me a break. What's your ESG score when you have to fire up nuclear reactors? Well, actually, that would be a good because... I mean, if it actually makes people realize that we need to use nuclear power, I think that's a good thing because the all-electric hippie future doesn't happen without nuclear. The quintessential choke team, yes, exactly. They always snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Well, at least the Packers are never the heel team, you know, that people want to see lose, you know, like the Cowboys used to be, or nowadays the Patriots or the 49 or the Chiefs. Another plane burned out of the sky due to lithium batteries. Oh, really? I know the post office is more paranoid about that than ever. See, I'd be way more worried about lithium battery fires than mercury or gallium. Because even if, like, mercury spilled on a plane, it's... I suppose it could happen eventually, but the thing is, you'd have to get through the paint. You'd have to get through the aluminum oxide. Like, if you ever watch experiments of people that show you what mercury or gallium do to aluminum, you know, they have to, like, spend, like, the first, like, 5 minutes, like, removing enough of the aluminum oxide surface for the gallium to even infect the metal. Although it's pretty crazy how it infects the metal. Well, yeah, like one PC Fred. That's why if you, well, I ship all sorts. I ship things all the time. Like, okay, so let's say this was what's it called? Priority Express or Priority Mail. So the problem or the danger is most U.S. Postal Service Priority Mail is flown in the bellies of commercial passenger jets. So if there was like an incident, then it puts, you know, hundreds of people at risk versus like, you know, a pilot and a co-pilot in a UPS plane. Oh, what the? No, that's not good. Well, I mean, lithium batteries are... They're... I don't want to say dangerous, but they're powerful, which means if they fail, there's a catastrophic failure. You know, like, your phone is, like, probably like a quarter stick of dynamite. Like, as far as, like, energy, chemical energy is concerned. Oh, look at that lovely residue. Beautiful. Live chickens, huh? Or like if you have like an electric car, like, you know, the batteries are really expensive, and a lot of the expense and the complexity is not even the batteries, it's everything around the batteries to keep them from blowing up. Elon Musk can't say that, but I can. What happened to your face? Ugh. Jerry rig of the Pixel Fold battery going up as he bent it. I wonder how many phones get sold every year just get destroyed by YouTubers. See also Cybertrucks. What? Wait a minute. Is this right? That's weird. That screw felt weird. You know, Bud started mewing in the morning again. So, it's not as bad as it used to be, but for like the first week, it completely stopped his mewing, the automatic feeder. And then the second week, there was some mewing. And lately, well, it's not as bad as it was. I noticed because I forgot to change my alarm this morning. So my alarm went off at 7 because I had to get up early for the pinball thing. 7 is early for me. So the alarm woke me up at 7, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to change my alarm. And then in the other room, I was like, oh, that thing must be going off. And the only thing I could really hear faintly is like the lid snap. Because remember, it's like 4 rooms away in an enclosure. But I could barely hear it. So I'm like, okay, well, it obviously is going to dispense. But then a few minutes later, he was mewing anyway. So he's still a needy orange male cat. Oh no, the Cybertruck's a failure. Maybe they shouldn't have made it so frickin' ugly. Or maybe they should have made it so you can open it without snow going inside it. Also, see Tesla Model S. See, at least in Detroit, they know what snow is. You would think the autistic trillionaire would think about that. You ever see Dave's Garage on YouTube? The autist has a book called The Autistic Millionaire. But yeah, Elon's gonna be the autistic trillionaire. Alexa, how old is Elon Musk?
Elon Musk is 54 years old.
Oh, he's only 5 years older than me. Wow, I'm a loser. Oh yeah, he could totally... I bet you he is the first trillionaire. He'll be like Wayland Yutani. A dumpster on wheels. It kind of looks like if a Iron Man mask was morphing into a Star Fox ship and they froze the animation halfway. That's the impression I get. Okay. Righty. I like Dave's Garage. Sometimes it's a little overly dry, and he's too obsessed with PDPs. I mean, maybe someone's okay with that, but no, I like his channel. I've watched almost all of his videos. Cause like, you know, there's a lot of I've seen people criticize, I've seen people criticize LGR, for instance, that he just collects stuff, but like 8-Bit guy, he programs, but that Dave guy is like totally hardcore. Like there's stuff he talks about. I kind of know what he's talking about, but it's like he's definitely a really, really, really smart guy. But I still think my favorite coding channel is Displaced Gamers. They do deep analysis of Nintendo games. Like, why does Metroid lag when the room changes? And why is Ghost and Goblins so poorly programmed and stuff like that? Displaced Gamers. And also their production value is really good. Like, they do like all these like assembly charts and memory dumps, and they like annotate it. And they like animate it. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Oh yeah, Mark. I noticed that, Mark. That was on earlier. Yeah, when I started work today, like my Trello, like we use Trello to like organize everything, and it's probably down for like 40 minutes. Cause you know I'm like, oh, I'm gonna arrange things. I guess that's something I could do at a cafe. I could arrange Trello cards. I mean, sometimes I do that. That Dave guy, he's probably not even 60, right? So, he probably used Vaxes like in the early 90s, but it's probably still a little old for him. But I think, you know, just like, I think people have a fascination with old stuff. You know, like boomers are fascinated with cowboys and Indians, and Gen Z are fascinated with tape decks. It's always like this romanticism fascination with older things. Hello, 3D Medic Vince 449. You know, I bet like the Trello functionality is also inside of Slack, so I don't know why you don't just use that for everything. Slack always makes me think of that Office episode where Ryan created a service called Roof or whatever it was, and it's like, this service will email you, text you, and fax you whenever someone sends a message. And it's like if I have like more than one computer around and then someone slacks, it's like you hear like that sound. It like echoes to like two different computers. It's like 20 milliseconds apart, and it's like even more infuriating. So I just disabled the sound on the laptop. Because my life hack, like when I was doing that Texas Chainsaw update, that pinball machine is not next to the big computer. And like I said, I do not like working on laptops. I mean, I don't know, I just don't. You're hunched over a little screen. So all I did was I opened up Unity on the laptop, but then the Visual Studio Solution, I just opened that. I opened that off of the laptop on my big computer. That way I can like, because like my work from home PC, I have like twin 32-inch monitors, so it's so much better than a laptop. So you just do the solution file and then you run it off of the laptop. You just have to push Control R to refresh Unity, which it kind of has to do anyway when you're local, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, when I when I start another one, I'll put that on the main computer, and then I'll probably have Evil Dead. I'll do Evil Dead, or continue supporting Evil Dead that way, because I don't want a basement full of pinballs. Because yes. Yep, I'm live. I try to be live every Monday. Yeah, Mark, that sounds familiar. Bing, 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 bing. I don't think I want to work anymore. What about bills? I don't think I want to pay those either. Man, wasn't Band of Brothers great? That was a great show. I started organizing some stuff to work on my back list. Single 49-inch curved screen. Oh, that's cool. So what I like about having two screens is if you are, I don't know if they started in Windows 8 or when it was, but at least in Windows 10 and 11, if you hold down Window key and then push the arrow keys, you can move your windows around. You can move them full screen, top, bottom, left, right, blah, blah, blah. But let's say you got a window on the left monitor, right? So if you hold Windows key and go right, it will go, broop, broop. Actually, I think it's just twice. So it would just move that monitor to the left-hand side of the right monitor. So by having two monitors, you can kind of stack the windows a little bit easier, or arrange them a little bit easier. And I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, now I have Windows 11 on my work from home PC, but I keep forgetting they're what is it? Tabbed full. Windows Explorer has tabs, which on paper sounds useful, but I don't know if I keep forgetting that it has it. I don't use it on my other Windows 10 PCs either. Because when I do the pinball stuff, I often have quite a few folders open. So you think that would be useful, but I keep forgetting about it. We're going to need an AI report of the TPS reports. Right. Where's my big X-Acto knife? Yeah, well. Hey, buddy, you stringing a dead cat in there or what? Oh, Windows Shift, right? I'll have to try that. Windows 11 has Explorer tabs. You didn't know that? I mean, I keep forgetting it too. They also put tabs in Notepad, which I hate. It's if I wanted this to be in tabs, I would open Notepad++. They're probably oh, we got to make this Notepad++. Oh, I just reached for the quick trip, the Q-tips, and they're gone. Gee, I wonder why. Do not look at this, bud. Ugh. Yeah, and you have to go in and disable like spell check and AI and friggin' notepad. Come on. All I want is a Windows search that works. That's all that I want, but it always sucks. Like, I really wish I could say, like, hey, show me all AI files I modified last week. Like, if there was, like, some sort of conversational, like, AI, that wouldn't even need to be an AI to do that. That would be great, but no, we don't get that. And you still can't rename your quick access folders. You could in Windows 7, but not in 10 or 11. It's like, what is really improved about Windows? Like, I still think like the biggest improvement was like natively opening zip files. Although I did notice Windows 11 can natively open RAR files. Progress. Anyone who really cares about RAR files is going to be running Linux anyway. Or tar files. Dave's Garage would love those. I was only at Pinball Expo for like 5 hours because me and the friend I drove down with, we both had to get back. His mom, he had to feed his sick mom's cat, and then my family was visiting, so I was only there for like 5 hours. So that was a long day. Oh, so Dave's Garage is the hero of all Windows. Nice. Yeah, what was that? Windows XP when they natively supported zip files, I believe. Well, yeah, tar is tape archive, right? It's like a Linux thing. Just in time for RAR to be dead. Yeah. Oh, I was really proud of myself. I was working on so right now I'm so we're gonna do like a community mode. So the final mode for Evil Dead, we're gonna let Bug's gonna do a stream, and we're gonna let the community like kind of help him figure out what the mode should be, which is great because then I don't have to think about it. So until he does that, I've just been polishing the old stuff because there's some modes I haven't touched in like 10 months. So that's what I started doing Thursday. So I'm probably going to do that for like probably at least 2 more weeks, which is good because some of the old stuff needs polished. But Hilton wanted a token system, so like you can earn like, well, I decided to call them wizard tokens. So like if you do things during the game, kind of like the video more, like if you get like achievements or whatever in a mode, it gives you wizard tokens, and the wizard tokens are stored. It's global per machine. So the gag is if you have wizard tokens, it'll show it in the attract mode, and then you hold the action button while you push start. And the game will start with, well, if you have tokens, the game will start with the with like wizard choice mode or whatever. So basically, the mode will start, and after you launch the ball, the trap door will be open, and when you shoot into it, there's a menu where it has like is it 10? Yeah, the 10 wizard modes. So like basically the 10 modes I programmed this year. and they have a token cost. So it's kind of like Copilot. So like let's say you want to do the one-handed kitchen fight. I have that like at one token. So you can say, okay, I would like to just jump and immediately light this wizard mode, because otherwise you have to play for a while to see a wizard mode. So you can like do that, and then you'll get the ball back, and then the trap door reopens, and you could do a quick start of kitchen fight. Or like if you wanted like the super wizard mode, that's like 4 tokens. I'll probably change it, but well, anyway, I actually asked AI for the right code for this part, but I made a JSON with a crypto hash. So yes, that made me happy, because that otherwise a person could just go in and change how many tokens they have with Nano. I mean, they probably won't, but I guess if someone knew how to use Linux, they could. So now that won't work unless they can somehow decompile the string, which I doubt anyone's going to bother to do. So I like using Copilot AI for stuff like that, where you can just be like, hey, I've never done this before. Tell me how to do this, or give me the code, and then I'll have it. And oh, one left. I didn't I actually re-downloaded Winamp. I can't remember what PC it was for. Like the most recent installer I could find was like 2023. But it's not like the stupid whorish new Winamp or whatever that was. It's just the newest version of old Winamp. I think someone's still maintaining it. It still works. The UI scaling isn't very good, but it works. It doesn't dock as well as it used to. ... but it works. I will use Winamp until the end of time. I remember I had Winamp on my first PC. And the PC had 16 megs of RAM in the PC, and I could run Winamp while doing other things. Well, most things I could still run Winamp. Obviously, there's some stuff where I couldn't, but I just think it's funny. Nowadays, like, you run this Winamp and it's like 32 megs just to run Winamp. It's like, wait a minute, why does it take 10 times the RAM to run the same MP file 28 years later? Your favorite movie. Yeah, UI scaling in Windows in general sucks. Mario suck. Guy Incognito, I didn't really think about that, because both of the videos I found about people making auto can openers, they used that kind of can opener. Both videos clearly were faking it. I actually came across the one I mentioned in my video like just yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And there was like a cut at a critical step, and I'm like, oh, that's why the comments are turned off. He must have got butt hurt. And like, if you look at the Doc Brown can opener, it's like you wouldn't build it like that. Like, you wouldn't actually make a robot arm. You would make more of like a cup, because that way the can would always go down to the same level instead of having like this. You know, like in the movie, right, it grabs a cup like this, but really you would want to grab it like this, right? Because that way you know what the Z height of the can is, because it hits the bottom of your thing, and then you would do this. And also it'd be probably better when you tip it over. Yeah, actually the cat food video that I mentioned, it actually was very much like the Doc Brown thing, where it had the cans on a slide like this, and so it was like bloop, it went down into the thing, and then it had like a thing that grabbed it. I mean, it looked like it probably, if I had to guess, it probably like 90% worked, but it probably didn't work fully in sequence, and hence the comments were disabled. because the problem with having things that slide down a trough is that, well, actually we have that same problem in pinball machines because we got the 6 or 7 balls in that trough. The weight of the balls behind them changes the physics as it becomes unloaded, so there's either more or less pressure on it, which also changes the friction. Now pinballs, obviously they have infinitesimally small surface area because they're ball bearings. Don't tell anyone pinballs are metric. Dun dun dun. But you would have that problem even more with a can of like dog food. And that's one of the reasons in my can opener, like the cartridges, the plastic cartridges the cans went into, they had like those sled things on the side, like the thin portions. That was to have enough spacing between the top and the bottom of the can cartridges so that you had the room for the pull tab thing. And also the reason I did that was so then when they slide down the chute, there's much less surface area to create drag, because you just got like these 2 thin strips instead of like the whole bottom surface of a can. So, and they always slide down just fine. I was a little worried about that when I started building the slide, but in reality it worked fine. Because why add another mechanism when you can just use gravity? It's free! Windows 8 kind of reminded me of Windows Vista in a way. Whereas, like, when I got 7, I actually used Vista for like 3 years, and 7 was better, but it didn't seem that much different than Vista. I think they fixed that anti-piracy copy feature, which they probably still do, because it still seems like Windows copies really slowly, but to me, Vista felt like Windows 7 with a different name, so people were like, oh, this is much better. And see also Windows... Because Windows 8 to 10 wasn't a huge difference. They just paused their war on the start bar, and then they resumed that war with Windows 11. Where does gravity come from? Nobody knows! Stephen Hawking doesn't even know. So I sure as hell won't. Magnets, how do they work? Yep. Hey, remember Justin Long was in the 3rd best Star Trek movie ever made, Galaxy Quest. I think I actually dislike the Wrath of Khan as time goes by, not because of the movie itself, but all of these crappy Star Trek, there's so many Star Trek movies where they just remake the Wrath of Khan. Not just Star Trek Into Darkness, but also that execrable Star Trek Nemesis was also just a remake of Wrath of Khan with skinny Tom Hardy. Jim Henson's Tom Hardy babies. Tom Hardy babies, they'll make your dreams come true. Guy, no, I haven't done that yet. I don't have any conventions now for a while. Actually, I want to test it. I mean, I'm not just running it every day so my cat doesn't wake me up before my alarm. I want to like run many cycles before I actually leave him unattended with it, just to make sure that it will always feed him. I might do like a 3-day weekend in December for work stuff. So that's probably the first time I would actually do it. But yeah, I would leave. The cans would just sit there at the end. But he actually like slides the cans around. So they definitely they wouldn't end up, because I thought what would happen is that they would be like, they'd be like this at the end of the chute, but he like slides them around. So yeah, they should have no problem getting to the bottom. Him sliding the can cartridges around was not something I anticipated, but he did it. Yeah, I heard about that too, PC Fred. Yeah, the Stern Star Trek 2013, that was a good pin. That was Steve Ritchie, yeah. Now Steve Ritchie works for JJP. Because I guess he got tired of being one-upped by Keith Elwin, the new hotness or whatever. Although I get the impression the King Kong game didn't sell very well. I mean, I think it is possible there might like Winchester Mystery House is well, it's not an original theme, but it's kind of an original theme. Same thing with Kong, like, because I don't think King Kong was a book, was it? I think it was a monster movie, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But like the kind of like I don't know the right word, like the original theme King Kong that Stern kind of made obviously is probably way cheaper than, although I can't imagine that movie would cost that much to license. That movie's ancient. Or like they did that with Jurassic Park. Like the last Stern Jurassic Park was basically a kind of a generic dinosaur hunting game with the name Jurassic Park on it, but that game turned out great. But they just like create, their own like video assets. They actually do a lot of their cinematics in Unreal Engine. Then they just render them to video files. Actually, I was talking to one of the JJP programmers at Expo, and he told me that. See, I always thought JJP was doing like real-time rendering of things, but he's like, no, we just use tons of WebM video layers with transparency. I'm like, oh yeah, I use that too, but I never use more than like 2 of them. But yeah, so we were talking about that for a while. Yeah, we were playing Harry Potter, but we spent most of the time talking about the screen interface. I remember Jason. I remember talking to him about the Elton John game. Was that last year? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm using math to draw circles in the LED matrix on the piano. And I was like, that's weird. And then, so this year I was talking to him again, and I'm like, you know what? Remember last year we were talking, because he came up to me, and I was like, okay, I think I remember this guy. And then I'm like, oh yes, we talked about programmatically drawing circles and shapes. And I said to him, I'm like, you know what? I thought it was kind of weird when you talked about that a year ago, but then since then, I've done like, I've used geometry in Unity to generate light shows on the fly for Evil Dead. Since the last time I talked to the dude, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. It is better to do it because then you don't have to like do everything with like a pre-programmed movie file. I mean, well, it's a movie file that's turned into data strings, but yeah. So there's actually a good number of modes that do that in Evil Dead. So there's like in the scene of the engine scene or whatever you call it. There's hold on a second. don't lose these springs. I brought these down here to... Yeah. These part... Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah, clean up the film guy. Look at all this dirt I pulled off the Super 8s. Look at that. This is the pinch for the gate. So, you've got... It goes like this. This keeps the film flat. But I lined everything with microfiber cloth. So the film... Or at least the face of the film. Well, actually, the film doesn't touch 3D printer at all. Like this, I actually used gift cards because it turns out they're all 1.7 millimeters thick. But yeah, look at that. It looks like rust almost. Look at that. I mean, maybe there is some rust because, like, you know, sometimes the reels are made of metal. Well, not the ones you store the film on, but like, you know, the projector reels are made of metal. Do I think about tournament players? Not too much on that one. I believe there's a tournament mode. It just removes some of the randomness from the game. Like the mystery awards are just awarded in a set sequence instead of being truly random. That's about it. But strangely enough, like America's Most Haunted actually had a lot more consideration for tournament play than these most two recent games I programmed. So yes, I think about it, but not a whole lot. Tournament players are like the Linux people of pinball. Sometimes they can be a bit persnickety. Still have only seen one of those new circuit boards once. I guess I need to order some more controllers. Yeah, I noticed like just going on Amazon and buying a brand new like white or black Xbox controller, the stock has been very nebulous for like months now. Like this one is refurbished. See how it's got some scuffs on it? Because like when I bought the last batch, like they just did not have brand new black or white controllers. Because I usually like to buy white ones because it's brighter, so it's visually easier for me to build. I know that sounds dumb. We did it all the time on the Ben Heck show. Like, whenever possible, we would make things white because it was just easier to photograph and see detail. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I could believe that Xbox stock is being pulled because, yeah. And I buy a ton of, well, not as many as I used to, but still more than any normal person. I definitely picked up some con crud. Yeah, look. They've got these weird green ones. Oh, this one's really cheap. But there's a refurbished one, so that's what I ordered. But yeah, look. See, like these aren't actually prime stock. Oh, I get a 2-pack. That's not a very good deal. Apparently I bought it before. Well, what is that? $64? That's not that bad. But yeah, where is just a bog standard white controller? Didn't coffee go up in price because of tariffs? I don't know. I don't buy it very often. Hey, if it weren't for tariffs, the Sega Master System wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. Brazil has had crazy tariffs for decades. Ugh. Con crud. Need a vaccine for con crud. Con crud vaccine. Oh, so prices of like computer stuff. There is another factor that people don't think about, and it's the end of Moore's law. So like when you see like for instance, like, oh, let's raise the price of the Xbox Series X, which is just, well, I mean, we're all old here. Like, I'm sure tariffs have an effect on that. However, at this point in its life cycle, that thing should be like almost half price. Like, even like, they have slowed down the price decreases. Like, that was even happening like with the Xbox 360. Like, did that thing ever get below like $200? Maybe at the very end it was like 150. And then the price drops on like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were also slower. And now the price drops are backwards. Oh, that was the thing. That was loud. So like if you think about like the Red Ring of Death era, like with the Xbox 360. Like when the Xbox 360 came out, it was on, I want to say like 120 nanometer process. And that would have been like 2000, maybe someone could fact check this with AI. That was like in 2005. And then I remember one of the things that made them more reliable is when they got like, I think it was called the Jasper chipset. And then eventually they combined the GPU and the CPU. But there were a couple revisions, and the big thing that they did was they actually did a die shrink on, I want to say at least the GPU, if not the CPU as well. Because back then, in a single console generation, you could go from like 120 nanometers down to like, I think it was like 85. So it was like quite a big change. And that made it run cooler, and it also made it cheaper because you could fit more of them onto a wafer. But now, what are we down to? Like maybe 5 nanometers? But the problem now is they're pushing the limits of lithography so far that, you know, it takes years and billions of dollars to even gain like 2 nanometers. So the scale, the improvement in the silicon and also the price reductions have both slowed down incredibly, or not even happen anymore, because like, oh, we made a more efficient wafer, but we only saved a little bit because we only went from like, you know, 10 nanometers down to 7. That doesn't really change the yield all that much, and we spent $3 billion doing it. That's a big part of the problem right now. And so they just if they don't even necessarily, you know, you can't shrink the parts enough, so they end up stacking stuff. That's been going on for a while. Or they just like these graphics cards, like the 5000 series you mentioned, like that's one of the reasons the graphics cards have gotten physically larger, is because the dies have not shrunk. Like, in fact, the dies get bigger because you're kind of stuck with your process size, but you're trying to put more stuff into it, which means you have a larger die size, which means it's more expensive. So that's a big thing that's driving price stagnation. Because, yeah, I mean, I've been PC gaming for like almost 30 years, and like, I remember for like the longest time, like a pretty decent graphics card was like $200. Like the motherboards used to be, the motherboards seems like they've gone up a lot too. Like the chips, not so, like the CPUs, not so much, but the video cards and the motherboards seem to be like the two things that have inflated the most. Yeah. But as far as like, yeah, the chips are concerned, that's a big part of it is, yeah. Moore's Law is done. Lithography is done. Concrud? Concrud is when you go to convention and you get sick. Like, I have like a scratchy throat and some snot was in my nose. I usually don't have that much snot in my nose, but I actually blew out a big load before I came on. I blew a big load and then I came on stream, just like Dark Side Phil. Okay, so this is L3. Yeah, Randy, I saw a recent Linus Tech Tips where they were like, let's do a $10,000 SLI rig from like 10 years ago, and they said like once you go past 2 cards, even, it doesn't really do that much. So like they were doing like a 4-card rig of like some 2015 hardware, and even like 2 cards didn't actually add a whole heck of a lot because there's latency between the cards and they have to catch up with each other. Oh, thanks, Winman48. Wait, is this Aaron? Or is this someone drinking Aaron's beer? Jeff Greeley at I don't believe I did. Who is Jeff who is that? Jeff Gerling? I mean, I might have, but I don't remember that name. They had an enormous homebrew section at the Pinball Expo this weekend. It was probably like, I don't want to say a fifth of the show, but it was a considerable area. Like they had this whole like tent city just for the homebrew section, and then Aaron Davis of Fast Pinball had his island in the middle, and he had all these 3D printers hooked up and microscopes and soldering irons, and I was like, "Are you selling 3D printers or something?" He's like, "Oh no, this is our support area in case someone's homebrew breaks and we have to 3D print parts or solder something." I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." So we had like a couple bamboos, and it was pretty cool. Wish I could have stayed there longer, but I didn't have enough time this year, unfortunately. Maybe I'll do like 2 days in the future. Like that hotel is actually fairly reasonably priced. It's a nice hotel too. Good analogy, Randy. 9:17. Big Bamboo. He had a P1P, which you don't see that often. You know, like the cheaper model. And then he had a couple X1C carbons. I heard there was like a deal on X1C carbons. You can get one for like $800 or something. Man, maybe I need another one. I probably don't need another one. Oh, you know, I should buy some more gold. Actually, I think I missed the window. I mean, I don't have any gold. I lost it all in a boating accident. Alright, I did retreat a little bit. It's still going to keep going up because yeah, the economy is fake. Fake. It's like gold is made out of GameStop, apparently. Okay, so we got this guy here for the thing. Ugh. Ugh. Well, it doesn't taste like anything, so it's not infected. Oh, thanks, J. Roy D. $5,000? I refuse to pay it. That's okay. We can just put him right back. Ghostbusters had a Stern Stargazer pinball. I'm sure the art director's like, wow, this game looks really cool. let's put it in the background. That's the one with like the sexy magic chick. Come on. Oh, hey, Dylan. Yeah, yeah, so it's not just pushing the limits of lithography, it's pushing the limits of physics. Like how many electrons you can move through things. And no, quantum computing is not the answer. That's not, at least quantum computers in their present state, that's not useful for general purpose computing. They pretty much need something entirely new. That's what they should be working on. Well, actually, I think that's why there's a big AI push. It's like we've reached the end of like what lithographic silicon can do. So now they're just offloading it to remote servers, since the home computers aren't really improving appreciably. I sound more like Dr. Jones. Yeah, my voice is a little scratchy. It's okay. PC Fred, are you talking about like Planck widths? Well, that's a lot smaller than an electron, though. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. I was thinking about buying a new chair for upstairs, but I don't know what kind I could get that wouldn't be destroyed by Bud. Like, if I got a leather chair, it'd be really hot. I don't know. Maybe I just won't. Like, Bud is like completely shredded the back of my sectional in my living room, but it's against the wall, so as long as I don't pull it out and look at it, who cares, right? That thing is old anyway. I mean, it's still all right, but I think I've had 15 years? Yeah, so. Ultraviolet. Eggs, waffles, and coffee for breakfast. You know, I did think about buying a waffle maker once, but have you ever seen those automatic pancake machines they have at some hotels? It's like, it has like a cooking conveyor belt inside of it, and it kind of like, it squeezes out the batter out of like a syringe inside the machine, and then the pancakes go down on the machine, kind of like, you know, the conveyor belt on a pizza oven at like Pizza Hut or Domino's. And then like the pancakes like plop out the end of the machine. I remember that there's a hotel I went to a couple times in what was it? In Queens. That yeah, it was the Hilton Garden Inn Flushing Corona Park had one. And then if you go to Murph, the Best Western Motel, which costs a fucking arm and a leg, they have a big old waffle maker. But actually, I was talking to one of the Murph guys at the show 2 days ago, and I was like, dude, you know, one of the reasons I haven't come to Murph in a couple years is like, you drive 6 hours and then you stay at Best Western that costs like $150. Or I could come to a convention here and pay like $180 to stay at this really nice hotel. It's kind of part of the reason. And my sister and I went to the bar the other night because it was my birthday, and for some reason we ended up talking about, I think we were discussing New York for quite a while. She's like, oh, you should take me on a trip to New York. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to pay for it for you. You made pancakes the old-fashioned way? What does that mean? I always make them with my cast iron skillet, personally. I have like a big, like, flat square thing, which I guess would hold more pancakes, but I can fit 3 pancakes in my cast iron, so I don't know. I use my cast iron all the time. It's great. Yeah, I'm sure it's even worse now, but I don't know. New York City is actually my favorite major American city. I really like going there. I mean, maybe Louis Rossman has like spelled it for me, and I'm sure it's worse now than it was before COVID, but I used to love going to New York City. I just think it's really cool, as long as you're not driving in it. Oh yeah, so then my sister was like, what it was? I think she had a old fashioned, because they have really good old fashions there. Wisconsin old fashions, of course. And she was like, $12? And I'm like, well, Cree, didn't you say you wanted to go to New York? You'd be begging for a $12 mixed drink at New York. You've been begging for a $12 mixed drink in New York 10 years ago. Oh, I also hear Las Vegas got super expensive, or super, like, price gougey. Oh, everything is like these conventions, like MGC or the Schaumburg Center. Like the Schaumburg Center had like the beer cart set up. What do they want? Like $14 for a domestic beer? It's like, give me a freaking break. It's just greed. Well, that and labor costs have skyrocketed. Nobody wants to talk about that. But, you know, when tens of millions of people go from $12 an hour to $16 an hour, it has an effect on prices. There we go. Yeah, New York City is a great place to visit, but yeah, I could have never afforded to live there. Oh, so then I was, oh wow, my sister and I, what were we talking? We were talking about this other friend of ours that we've known since high school, and he lives near New York right now, but they're actually going to move back to Wisconsin. And what was it? I was telling my sister, I'm like, you know, I wish before they moved back, I think it would be really fun to like visit their cabin and then take our other friend Mike with, because like Mike would like go out of his mind like in New York City, because it's like he'd be like, oh my god, because he lives in the country in New York, he'd be like, oh my god, there's women everywhere. And I was like, and she's like, what? I'm like, yes. I had told her, I was like, New York is lousy with women. And then one of the bartenders who was like doing books or something, or he was on a laptop at the end of the bar, he's like, I'm going to fact check you, Mr. Heckendorn. And I'm like, go right ahead. And he looked it up, and he's like, wow, it's 52 to 48%. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you. It's kind of like in Last Action Hero, where he's like, this woman is too beautiful to be working in a video store. There's no ugly people here. This is a movie. No, this is California. All right. Getting closer. The Costco chicken and hot dog diet. Yeah, exactly. I guess I could put the magnet in after I do this. The rent is too damn high. Yeah. Well, Louis Rossmann talked about that a lot. And yeah, the thing that sucks, and this was in the news with Trump, but the thing is, they all do it. What happens is, like all the storefronts are empty. Louis Rossmann has done videos years ago. It's like, look at all these empty storefronts. He was like showing like how much of New York was emptied out after COVID. But the thing is, they don't lower the rents, because if they lower the rents, then the values of the buildings go down, and that damages all the loans that have been taken out against them. Because like people who own all that real estate, they all leverage it up the hilt. But yeah, so it's better for them to have an empty building and not lower the rent than lowering the rent and having a full building, because that would damage the value of their loans. And that's part of the problem. Oh no, I'm turning into Louis Rossmann. Hey everybody. I don't know how on earth someone has enough foot traffic to like have a $35,000 a month rent, but I guess they must have done it. And then Louis moved to the New York City of Texas, Austin. You can put that on a bumper sticker, Louis. A Menards story? Menards had a really good deal on Triscuits last time I was there. And I looked at the box, like the expiration was like the end of October, so I think this time it was something that fell off the back of the truck. It was like $2 a box, so I bought like 4 boxes, like screw it. I mean, it's not like they're gonna explode on October 31st. Great story, huh? You know what? Actually, the toilet in the basement, the Irish toilet, the handle plunger thing does appear to be broken. So I probably need to fix that one of these weekends. So I will definitely have to go to Menards again. But there's no Irish sink, but I totally use that bathroom during the day because my work from home area it's downstairs. It's at the opposite end of the basement of where I am right now. So there's like a little wall, and then behind that is the toilet. I think at some point they probably had like a whole little bathroom, because there's pipes above it for like the hot and cold water. I don't know where the sink drain would have gone though. Not sure how that worked. Maybe they had like a pipe that went over to the other sinks. I thought about like redoing it, making like a little bathroom, but then, well, I guess the tax assessor would never see it. Remember he came into my house the first time, and he's like, "Oh, is this?" Oh, and I was like, "Behold, the half bath. It's a toilet. It's a toilet near the washer and dryer." Apparently, the original owner had like guest bedrooms down here. The thing is, it's not illegal to have bedrooms in a basement that have no egress windows. You just can't call them bedrooms. So if you built like 3 bedrooms down here somehow, your kids could sleep in them, but you couldn't sell the house and say that it has 6 bedrooms, because they can't be considered bedrooms unless, if they're in the basement, there has to be like one of those egress windows for fires. Hey, I like Triscuits. A teardown on the $10 hearing aid. I'm excited to give out candy this year. Oh, that's weird, Megan. You know, there was a weird phenomenon here. I mean, maybe it's not as weird as I think, but I swear to God, I have more trick-or-treaters now than before COVID. I don't know, maybe people got, I don't know, maybe they just wanted to get out more, but I don't know. Oh shit, yeah, shit, that's what, 2 weeks? Yeah, that's next Friday, so I gotta I gotta go to Menards and buy some candy. Candy is so freaking expensive now. Actually, it probably would be cheaper to give out Triscuits. I put the Triscuits in like little plastic bags. I saw a video, some guy, I think it was in 2020, some guy had made like this big slide or something, like kind of like that cat food dispenser slide I made, but it was in his driveway, and so he would slide bags of candy down the slide to the end of the driveway for the kids to grab. That was pretty cool. Actually, I did something like that too. Like, well, me and my neighbor, Kip, I just put like a folding table out at the end, or on the front lawn or wherever, and then I just pre-bagged up a bunch of candy so the kids could just come and grab it. And then subsequent years, no one cared anymore, but I was still like, you know what? That was really handy because I didn't have to do anything. So I actually did that for a couple more years, but I think then I just started buying a big box of candy because I got lazy again. I'm like, okay, going to the door every 10 minutes is somehow less hassle than like sitting there bagging up, separating all this candy and putting it into like little bags, like 4 things per Ziploc. So it was like a war of attrition with laziness. Oh yeah, I've definitely noticed that, Randy. Like when I was a kid, it would always snow before my birthday, which was the 19th of this month. Yes, so there's definitely something changing. Although I would also say along the same time, it seems like our springs start later. So it almost feels like more of a shift. There's something else I remember about 2020. 2020 was the nicest spring we'd had in Wisconsin in like a decade. And everything was closed. It sucked. It's like, wow, look at this great spring weather. I'm going to go outside and stand in my yard. Whee! All right. This... Oh, no trigger. Then this. Up, left, right, down. Yeah, Megan, it's cute to see like the costumes and try to guess what the kids are supposed to be. And I usually know the references. You know, it's always like Five Nights at Freddy's or something, but... I mean, it's not, you know, just buy a bunch of candy, dump it in a bucket, and hand it to the kids. It's not a very difficult thing to do, but it makes kids happy. Oh, I don't know. Well, it was after I started handing out candy manually. A bunch of kids came to the door. And, this one kid, like, came inside my house. And he wasn't being like a Willy Wonka kid. It was just kind of like innocent. He's like, oh, wow, what's in your bucket? And I was like, I don't think you should go into strangers' houses, kid. I don't think their parents were with them either, so... I don't know. That kid, that was a little, yeah. It's like, wow, you're lucky I'm not like a murderer or something. But yeah, candy's, well, everything's expensive now, but Menards has pretty decent prices. Well, less awful prices. Oh yeah, I remember those guy Incognito. And they always had like those terrible, awful masks of like Captain America or like Spider-Man, and they were incredibly cheap. No springs. Awful prices. Yeah, awful. Awful. Oh. When I was like a really little kid, our dad would like make us costumes. Maybe that got me started on making stuff. And I remember also like the last times I went trick-or-treating was probably like the mid 80s, so like everyone just went as Ghostbusters every year. So we would like duct tape old like vacuum hoses to like sticks and make proton packs. So yes, it's like, oh, obviously I'm a Ghostbuster. Ghostbusters, what do you want? Yes, the costumes were so awful you had to label what the costume was. Oh, the costumes the kids have now are, well, they're probably made in China now, so it's probably cheaper, so you can make something fancier. Like when I was a kid, it was probably like Rhode Island or something, and they had a union. So this is the best costume we can make, or we're gonna move to Mexico. All right, let's test the batteries. Are they done beating the Ghostbuster horse to death? I don't know. What was the last one? Frozen Empire? Was that any good? I didn't see it. I thought the Afterlife one was okay, but it reminded me of Force Awakens. It's like, you know what? I would have been totally okay with no old men in this movie, you know? I don't know. So, you know, I always talk about, like, Indiana Jones, and obviously, you know, I love Indiana Jones as a character, but, like, I see something like Force Awakens, and as soon as Harrison Ford shows up, he's like, get off my lawn. I felt the same thing with, what was it, Blade Runner 2094 or whatever. It's like, I was like, you know, this movie is pretty decent, but as soon as Harrison Ford shows up, it's like, oh, God. I'm Deckard. Am I a replicant? I don't know. Oh, look at the digital Sean Young. That was so dumb, like, how many millions did they spend on making a digital Sean Young when Sean Young is still alive and she's still, you know, I mean, she's older, but she's still a beautiful woman. It's like, why not, you know, like, why not try to tempt Deckard with, like, a 49-year-old Sean Young? I mean, you know. Alexa, how old is... What's that?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What are you asking about?
Alexa, how old is Sean Young?
Sean Young is 65 years old.
Okay, 65. So yeah, she would have been what? 58 when that 58 when that movie came out. Alexa, how old is Christina?
I didn't catch that.
I'm trying to remember her name.
I wasn't able to understand the question I heard.
Ah, Alexa, how old is it? Callista Flockhart.
Callista Flockhart is 60 years old.
Okay, so she is younger than Sean Young. So Sean Young is Sean Old. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Oh, so Sean Young is like Val Kilmer was in the 90s? That's why Val Kilmer disappeared for like 20 years. Apparently he was a right bastard. Yeah, wasn't Sean Young supposed to be in the first Batman, but then she broke her leg or something? Yeah, she broke her leg practicing how to ride horses, and then that scene didn't even make it into the movie. Maybe that's why they cut that scene. Maybe that's why he became a dentist. Oh. Oh, I was having this very, I guess you could call it sexist conversation with my sister. It was about Sam Neill. And I was like, because she was complaining about her daughter making her watch all those stupid Jurassic Park movies. And I'm like, did you notice, like, I'm sorry. I was like, you know, like with the first Jurassic Park, how Laura Dern was like 20 years younger than Sam Neill? It's like, there's like this huge age difference in that movie. But then in the last movie, like, Sam Neill aged so much better than Laura Dern. Oh, sorry, Laura Dern. I'm gonna go to hell. We guys bring him up because our mom loves Sam Neill, so of course that's always a conversation. Although I don't think she's ever seen Event Horizon. She probably wouldn't like that movie. Alexa, how old is Sam Neill?
Sam Neill is 78 years old.
78. Alexa, how old is Laura Dern?
Laura Dern is 58 years old.
Yeah, she's 20 years younger than Sam Neill. Wow. Alan Grant. There you go. Alan Grant was the rock star in that movie. He was like doing the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, not Ian Malcolm. He's probably like at the club. He's like, I dig up dinosaur bones. What? I dig up dinosaur bones. You want a bone? Cut to Yeah, that's how his character met Laura Dern. There, that's my fanfic. Oh, so anyway, then my sister showed me this video. It's like Sam Neill, like, at a sheep farm or something. And he, like, drives around with the sheeps. So I guess he must live... Well, he's from New Zealand, so I guess maybe he must live there still, too. Guess that makes sense. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Oh, yeah. John Carpenter is probably worse to work with than Sean Young. Remember when Spooky did Halloween? They asked about John Carpenter, and they're like, no. You do not want to get him involved. Did John Carpenter make that, like, Invisible Man movie with Chevy Chase, or am I thinking of somebody else? I'm trying to think of, like, when John Carpenter kind of dropped off the map. Because he kind of didn't really have any hit after, like, Halloween. Like, I mean, people, like, love those, like, Big Trouble and, like, The Thing and They Live, but none of those movies were successful in their original runs. I am also the weirdo that does not like Big Trouble in Little China. The Thing is fantastic. I love The Thing, and They Live is like the best aged movie ever. I just thought Big Trouble was. I mean, I know it's supposed to be silly, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Oh, this one got squished a little bit. Oh, I didn't realize the tolerances were that intolerant. Yeah, look at that one. What other colors do I have? I paint with all the colors of the wind. Oh, look at that. That's a wide mouth bass. That's like really wide. Oh, that's old. What about this one? Also old. There's a gray one. Yeah, that doesn't really fit. Oh wait, there's gray on it. Oh, obviously this fits perfectly. Oh God, Ghosts of Mars. Yeah, that movie was awful. We watched it for a bad movie night. It wasn't even good for a bad movie night. Go directly to movie jail. Do not pass go. Oh, the one time I went to the Horror Fest with Charlie, when we first showed Halloween, we got to meet, what's his name, Nick Castle, the guy who directed The Last Starfighter. He was pretty cool. I believe he played Mike Myers in the original Halloween. He was like the guy under the mask, I think. I'm pretty sure that was also Nick Castle. I think. Oh yeah, that's why he was there, because because someone from like Fox Chicago was interviewing him about the Halloween. Yes, I saw the trailer for it. The Anaconda remake is like this super meta movie. Oh, what is it? It's like a bunch of people want to make a low-budget remake of the movie Anaconda, and so they like rent a boat and they go out in the jungle to film the movie, and then they get stalked by a real giant anaconda. I'm not making that up. That's what it is. And yes, there's a... Yes. I guess maybe it'll be the next Tropic Thunder. Who knows? Probably not. If you watch the trailer for it, it is the weirdest frickin' thing you'll ever see. I want to say like William F. Macy's in it, or... It's got a few people on it. Oh, we found this low budget ripoff of Cocaine Bear on Amazon. It was called Crack Coon. And we started watching it, but it was pretty boring, so we stopped. Well, no, it's like the plot is like there are these indie filmmakers who want to make like a low budget homage remake. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to explain it. Just look up the trailer. I'm sure it's on Amazon or Amazon. It's in the Amazon. Oh, not this again. Seriously, I gotta redesign this part. Look at that. What the hell? What the heck is going on? What the hell is going on? Primitive War. Oh yeah, so we get back from the bar. We're there for like, I don't know, an hour or two. We get back and my niece is watching our mom watch Velocipaster. The thing is, I'm pretty sure I made my mom watch. Well, I know I made her watch Thanksgiving. I don't know if she saw Velocipaster. And our mom's like really religious, so it was even more funny. Although I had to point out, I'm like, you know, they obviously don't know the difference between a priest and a pastor. But I guess Velocipriest wouldn't have been as funny of a title. Actually, the movie's pretty awful, but once you get to the end when they have the full reveal of the terrible Velocipaster outfit and he's fighting ninjas, that makes it worth it. Like the outfit's really bad. It's like worse than Posthumous Woman, because like at the bottom of it, like where the dinosaur's crotch would be, like there's this big open area of the costume they didn't even bother to seal up, and then it's like kind of like a paper mache dinosaur head, and then I don't know why he's fighting ninjas. Velocipaster? Yeah, it's like there's this guy who's he's a priest, but the movie's called Velocipaster. And he goes to China to like teach about Christianity or what, you know, like what is it called? A missionary? And then he's walking through the woods in China, which looks just like woods in America. And there's no Chinese people anywhere, of course. And he trips and falls and cuts his hand on there's like a velociraptor claw just laying in the woods. And he trips and falls and cuts himself on it. And that causes him to become a well, it's kind of like a werewolf kind of thing. So he only becomes a Velocipaster at night. And for the most part, he only kills like bad guys. And then there's like a hooker. And then I think he kills her pimp, and then she falls in love with him. And then ninjas show up for some reason. But I want to do like Christian ninjas. I don't know. Actually, Velocipaster isn't well, I haven't seen them all, but I've watched a decent amount of like no budget, you know, the kind of movies I make on Amazon, and Velocipaster is actually decent. I mean, it's decent for what it is. I think I need to lock that down. Okay, stupid D-pad works. There's another one I watched. It was like Night of the Weir Rooster, I want to say. Yeah. I mean, obviously the gold standard of all these is Thanksgiving. But not the sequel. The sequel was really dumb. The sequel was clearly like the guy who made it had too much money and he was too obsessed with Labyrinth. Well, there was one part in the sequel where Turkey, he gets put through like a turkey processing machine, so it like kills him and like cuts them all up. And then he's in this graveyard and there's like these skeletons of other turkeys that come back to life. And he says to them, he's like, "Skeleton turkeys, rebuild me." And so they put him back together with parts, but then like they couldn't find his dick. And he's like, "Where's my dick?" And they're like, "We lost it, sir. We lost your turkey baster, sir." And he's like, "No dick." And so then they have this Sam Raimi thing where it's like shlink, runk, and he puts a chainsaw on his dick, and then the camera pans up to him and he says, "Gravy." That's probably the best part. The rest of it's pretty dumb because there's like this like puppet grandma in it for some reason. There's like, I don't know. I think there's only like one human in it. The rest of it's like puppets. It's, I don't know. The first one's better. Well, no. The turkey processing machine kills the killer turkey. But then like I said, then he gets put back together by undead skeleton turkeys, and then he gets a chainsaw dick. I mean, everything makes sense to me. Sounds logical. Gravy. I think that's everything. Yeah, it looks like it all works. Yay! Saturday Night Raptor? No. Bud, I did not do it. I did not. So, how's your sex life? Oh, that's right. You don't have a penis. Ha ha ha. What a great story, Bud. Oh wait, I guess you do have a penis. Unless you get another bladder infection, in which case you won't have that. They will turn you into a girl cat. Oh no. Then your name will be Budina. Budtress. Beatrice? Alright. Elapsed time 1 hour 54 minutes. That wasn't bad. Bud, do you have a derpy face? Do you have Christian Dunst eyes? Do you have melancholia? Are you a small soldier who's going to do an interview with a vampire in Elizabethtown? Bring it on! Yes, yet another build. So, I need to either print more of these or change the design. I'll set you over there. lost my dick. Oh, it's double-sided tape. That's what I did. Oh. I remember. That's a fail. Fail block. Would we even know? Probably not. I mean, maybe Velocipaster. And if I glued this, I wouldn't have to worry about the spring coming out. Problem solved. You lost my dick. You know, they're probably already using AI. The thing that's going to be really funny is that AI will probably ironically save Hollywood. Like, if they can use it to make post-production cheaper. So that's part of the problem. Like, when they, like, make these movies and they reshoot them 3 times and they go super long. Well, like, there's that report about The Rise of Skywalker cost, like, $600 million and, like, you know, there were rumors that movie was shooting a month before release. So think about, like, actually the same thing happened with Rogue One. Like, Rogue One had like a ton of reshoots, like 4 months before it was released. And so it's not just the reshoots, but then you have to rush all the visual effects much faster, and that costs an astronomical amount of money. So if maybe you could use the AI to maybe do some of the post-processing work better. Or you could also use the AI to, like, analyze your script and say, wait a minute, we detect an 84% chance of reshoots. Why don't you just rewrite this for free and then not have to reshoot it? Oh, that's a great idea. Thanks, Awesome-o. Where is... Bud, are you a lion who sleeps tonight? Oh man! Look! Even the edge of look at that. Even the edge of the car got dirty. See that dirt there? Wow. Where'd this other screw go? No. It left us. It left us. But that's not what I'm gonna do. Unless it's Event Horizon. Well, there's a couple stages before the film even gets to the gate where there's other wipers, and those are dirty too. It's just insane, like how much. Then there's a fan that blows on the. It goes through one set of wipers, then it goes over a fan, then it goes to another set of wipers, then it goes to this. So, of course, this is probably like quite a bit of film, probably like 2 or 3. Maybe like 2,000 feet of Super 8 went through this. I scanned everything. Now it's like, well, now what? I have nothing left to scan. Maybe I'll finish this later. Where'd my other screw go? What will I do? Oh no. Wait, does this go there? I can't remember. Better keep it aligned until the glue dries. There we go. I thought there was like some sort of director's cut that had the hell scene in it. I like that part of that movie where Lawrence Fishburne is like, "We're leaving." You know what that movie kind of reminded me of was The Black Hole. Remember the Disney movie? Yeah, that's what Disney needs in its movies again. They need stuff that scares the shit out of kids, like Maximilian. Think about it. Are there like any Disney villains that like would scare a kid? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I've seen. Yeah. What was the last Disney movie that had like a villain that actually would scare someone? Like really scary. It's kind of a lost art. Flight of the Navigator scared you? Why? Oh yeah, Brave Little Toaster, definitely. Yes. Nightmare fuel. Oh yes, Watership Down was super dark. I never saw Return to Oz, but I heard that it's super dark. Oh yeah, Black Cauldron had like those skeleton guys, right? That came out of the cauldron. Man, Disney used to be so like risky. Disney was so much more interesting, even more interesting than like Renaissance Disney. Like, because everything they tried bombed, but it was really interesting. I mean, like, Tron is a great... I mean, I don't think Tron's... Okay, I'm going to lose some viewers here. I don't think Tron's a very good movie, but, I mean, they definitely took a big swing on it. I'm sure people probably thought parts of Tron were... Oh, you know what scared me as a kid? Was in Superman 3 when the woman got turned into a robot. That scared the shit out of me. Alright, well, hey, I think I'm going to bounce for the night. But thanks for stopping by. And then, yeah, I want to try to do streams every Monday night. Even if I don't have controller orders. Although that would actually give some variety. So, yeah, probably either, like, building stuff here. Or maybe streaming upstairs. Like, we could do some, like, retro games. There was, like, some other... Oh, yeah, I was playing Shadow the Ninja. And I almost beat it. After not playing it for 30 years. And... You know, I bet I could beat that. I mean, come on, if I got that close, I'm sure I could do it. Yeah, I hired Goon. Tron. Okay, I didn't see Tron until I was probably in my 30s. I probably would have loved it when I was 6. But having seen it as like a jaded, like 35-year-old, my main impression was like, this is like if they had done The Matrix completely wrong. And see, also... If you watch, like, the original Super Mario Brothers movie, that movie is like, okay, here's what would have happened if they would have done the Ninja Turtles movie completely wrong. So I think it's about execution. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Say goodbye, bud. Did you squeak? Meow. Alright, bud, we're going to go upstairs now. Oh, the camera's on.